Why was the snowman sad? 'Cause he had a meltdown. Today, I'm going to recap a 2023 action thriller film called Darkland: The Return. The film opens with a scene of police vehicles. Inside one car, a criminal is seated beside a woman officer named Helle. She observes the criminal's apparent confusion and nervousness. Helle instructs the car to pull over and removes the blindfold from the criminal's face. She attempts to calm him by engaging in conversation, assuring him that he is safe. Once she senses his anxiety has lessened, she signals that they can proceed to the courthouse. Upon their arrival, they are greeted by journalists and onlookers. An individual attempts to get close to the police vehicle, but is promptly deterred by the police, who instruct him to step back. Helle tries to shield the criminal as they enter the courthouse, but he is tragically shot in the head and dies instantly. Meanwhile, in a detention cell, another person is awakened by the disturbance. This individual, a prisoner, is seen carrying out his routine prison life, starting his day early and heading to the prison yard. While playing chess, he notices a group of inmates harassing another. Initially, he doesn't intervene, but eventually he steps in and invites the harassed inmate to join him in a game of chess. This man, named Zaid, advises the young inmate to abide by the prison rules for his safety. When the young man inquires if anyone is waiting for him outside, Zaid doesn't respond but encourages him to keep playing chess. In the evening, Zaid is seen crafting a paper bird. On his desk is a photo of a young boy named Noah. He's informed by the warden that his father is visiting, but it turns out to be Helle. She inquires if he knows Muhdir, a gang leader involved in recruiting young boys. He denies knowing Muhdir and questions her interest. She proposes that he infiltrate Muhdir's gang, offering his release from prison as a reward. Zaid, however, doesn't immediately accept the proposal, reflecting on the courthouse shooting and Helle's loss of the young man. She questions whether he desires to return to his previous life and the time he's missing with his son, Noah. Without responding to her inquiry, he returns to his cell and pens a birthday letter to Noah, but ultimately chooses not to send it, opting instead to go to sleep. In the midst of his sleep, the warden rouses him and suggests he move to a new prison cell. He is relocated to a cell previously occupied by a gangster, leaving him puzzled about the reason for this move, which the warden does not clarify. In his new cell, Zaid discovers the bird-shaped paper he crafted and deduces that his transfer to the gangster's cell is part of a specific task. The following morning, he is taken aback when a group of inmates enter his cell and remove a photo of his son, Noah, from the wall, joking about whether Noah is a boy or a girl. Zaid, disturbed by their mockery, retaliates by striking one of them, prompting the gang to leave. That night, he attempts to call Noah to wish him a happy birthday, but Noah doesn't respond to the call. The next day, Helle visits Zaid in his cell. He expresses his willingness to undertake the mission, with the condition of reclaiming his previous life. Helle seems satisfied with his decision and presents him with a parole letter, indicating his potential release upon successful completion of the mission. She outlines a strategy for Zaid to gain the trust of Muhdir's gang through a certain deal. Later, Zaid takes a decisive step by confronting and fighting the gangsters from earlier in the prison yard. The following day, he meets with a man named Adil to discuss the fight. Zaid learns that Adil wields significant influence in the prison, and, noting that he has good relationships with some guards, they agree to collaborate. Zaid is then instructed to confront a young man, the son of a sex worker, in cell 157. Accompanied by Adil and his group, Zaid goes to the cell and is stunned to find the same young man he had previously played chess with. After this encounter, Zaid is released from prison. He then visits a tall building, asking a young man named Diddi for directions to the 23rd floor, which is where Zaid used to live. After spending some time on his balcony, he attends an exhibition and meets his ex-wife, Stine, an employee there. He congratulates her on her pregnancy, but she is taken aback by his unexpected freedom and feels unprepared for the encounter. They have a disagreement, but Zaid is adamant about seeing his son. Eventually, Stine relents and allows Zaid to observe Noah during a soccer practice. As evening approaches, Zaid gets a call from Jimmy, requesting a meeting outside Zaid's building. He steps into a car, but unexpectedly, Jimmy halts the vehicle, and Zaid feels someone grip his neck from behind. Jimmy reveals his intention to monitor Zaid, citing Zaid's past as a doctor, and expresses doubts about Zaid's dealings with Adil and his crew. Following this tense moment, Zaid is left on the roadside. The following day, Zaid and Helle convene at an exhibition. Zaid updates her about Jimmy's surveillance. Helle equips Zaid with a microphone and a GPS tracker to collect intel on Muhdir. She reassures him that their plan is confidential, and the police will be led to believe Zaid is integrating into the gang. At dusk, Jimmy collects Zaid and takes him to a specific site. Before they enter a room, Jimmy inspects Zaid's possessions. Inside, Zaid finds Muhdir and his gang, and is tasked with performing surgery on a wounded individual. Zaid asks for the room to be cleared to ensure a calm surgical environment. Jimmy is reluctant, but Muhdir insists his men leave, although he stays because the patient is his brother, Nashar. Zaid skillfully removes a bullet from Nashar's leg. The next day, Zaid visits Stine's residence, hoping to reconnect with his son. Unfortunately, Noah doesn't recognize him. Despite this, Zaid is optimistic and engages with Noah as a visitor, inviting him to play indoors. Later, Zaid accompanies Muhdir and his associates. They locate the individual responsible for Nashar's injury and proceed to their headquarters. There, Zaid is surprised to encounter Diddi, his neighbor. He discreetly learns that Diddi is an informant for Muhdir, tasked with surveilling Zaid's apartment. Zaid is then assigned to retrieve items from the port. Before departing, he secretly plants a tracking device in Muhdir's vehicle. Upon arrival at the port, Jimmy cautions Zaid to execute the task flawlessly, emphasizing the importance of not causing any issues. The cargo meant for Muhdir is hijacked by men working for Boba, who were also behind Nashar's injury. Zaid proceeds to Boba's hideout to reclaim the stolen items. Initially, Boba hesitates to surrender them, but Zaid successfully retrieves them. He then returns to Muhdir's base, briefing him about the incident and how he retrieved the drugs from Boba. Muhdir initially doubts Zaid's account, but Zaid eventually persuades him. Zaid even offers to meet with Boba at a club, noting Boba's agitated state. The following day, Zaid spends time with Noah and Stine at the beach, engaging in light conversation. During their discussion, Noah inquires whether Zaid might have to go back to jail or if he could stay with them. Zaid expresses his desire to stay. Noah questions Zaid about the reason for his imprisonment, but Zaid doesn't respond. Post his beach visit, Zaid visits a library to hand over an audio recording to Helle. The recording comprises voice messages from his last 2 weeks with Muhdir's gang. Reflecting on his involvement with Muhdir, Zaid shares Noah's question about his criminal past with Helle. She reassures him that Noah will eventually understand his father's role in combating crime, which slightly alleviates Zaid's worries. One evening, Zaid meets Muhdir, who assigns him to a significant task alongside Nashar and Diddi. They briefly stop at a store while chatting in their car. Unbeknownst to them, Helle is observing Zaid from afar. Shortly after, gunmen attack their vehicle. Zaid and Diddi narrowly escape, but Nashar is fatally wounded. In a panic, they retreat to the previously visited store, followed by 2 of Muhdir's rivals. Helle arrives to assist Zaid, who allows Diddi to leave before re-entering to face the adversaries. Inside, Zaid unexpectedly encounters Helle. Outside, Diddi spots them but acts as if he hasn't. Zaid and Diddi then head back to Muhdir's headquarters. There, Zaid overhears a conversation about a GPS device attached to Muhdir's car, raising suspicions. The tension escalates as police sirens are heard nearby. Muhdir restricts Zaid from leaving and takes him to a garage-like structure. Inside, they find Muhdir interrogating a man named Rashid, suspecting him of leaking information to Boba regarding a drug transaction. Rashid confesses to the betrayal, but denies any involvement with the tracking device. Subsequently, Rashid is led away by the men. In the library, Zaid opens up to Helle about the distressing episode involving Rashid. He admits his remorse and expresses a desire to abandon the mission. However, Helle sternly warns him that quitting could expose him to dangers from Muhdir. The following day, Muhdir confronts Diddi, seeking information about the supermarket shooting where Nashar was injured. Diddi initially withholds details, but eventually discloses that Zaid encountered a policewoman who chose not to arrest him, leaving Muhdir dumbfounded. Zaid spends a joyful day with Noah at an amusement park, filled with games and conversation. On their journey back, their vehicle is targeted in a drive-by shooting, but Zaid skillfully evades danger and safely delivers Noah to Stine's residence. Before parting, he affectionately tells Noah of his love, embracing and kissing him. Returning to his apartment, Zaid discovers it has been ransacked, and Noah's picture is missing. He quickly deduces that Muhdir is responsible and informs Helle. However, Muhdir's men soon capture him. Muhdir brings Zaid to the same location where Rashid was previously tortured and chillingly reveals his plans to visit Noah and Stine. As Zaid pleads for their safety, Jimmy prepares to assault him. Miraculously, Zaid manages to overpower Jimmy and the other assailants. Determined, Zaid heads to Muhdir's base to confront him. He first battles through Muhdir's henchmen. Upon entering Muhdir's room, he encounters Diddi alongside several young individuals. Muhdir injures Zaid by shooting him in the leg. In an unexpected turn, Diddi turns his gun on Muhdir. Amidst the chaos, Zaid shoots Muhdir, resulting in his death. Diddi then assists Zaid, and they exit the compound together. Zaid drops Diddi off at his home, pausing briefly to gaze at a photo of Noah. Within moments, the sound of police sirens nears Muhdir's headquarters, signaling the imminent arrival of law enforcement. If you enjoyed this video, don't be shy to hit the like button, and if you disliked it, hit the dislike button twice, just to be sure. It would be best if you watched the whole movie. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe for more videos like this.